Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Around the Table GTA. This episode is going to be more about, um, I'd say like making it happen, doing things, just getting things done. What kind of brought up this episode is that every year I kind of get excited for the summertime and I do a lot of planning. And for a majority of that, I do get to do all the things that I really want to do. Summer is my favorite season, and if you've seen some of my older episodes, I've mentioned on why it's the best season, and I still believe that to this day. It hasn't changed much. Sorry for my voice. It's been on and off dealing with like a cold. I'm pretty sure it's not C19, but who knows? Everyone just panics about everything, and I'm at the point where I really couldn't care less if death struck me right now. um I'd be upset, of course. There's still a lot of things that I want to do in life, but anyways, I'm not trying to make this a depressive episode or anything like that. So let's just get back into it. I've just been noticing that I get excited, I want to do all this stuff, I plan all this stuff, I do it in succession, and I enjoy the summer, and then it just flies by. And a lot of us don't really think about our goals in that sense unless it's towards enjoyment. A lot of people think about doing something and they just think and think and think, but when it comes time to do it, they don't do it. And the thing is, usually we overthink stuff like that where, oh, I'm going to have to do this, I'm going to have to do this, I'm going to have to do this. You have a big time to brainstorm everything. When you just kind of like make it happen, it's a lot simpler than it seems. We're in a world where we kind of overthink things unless we're like getting some type of instant gratification for it. And I've been noticing that too, where I usually have two long-term goals or like yearly goals to attain or that I try to achieve. One I usually get done all the time because I do it every year. And then maybe I'll do the other one or I'll get lost. Summer is where I lose a lot of time because I put that on the back burner, and then everything else just flies by. The time flies by, then it gets cold and I don't want to do anything. So this is just a reminder, guys. If you do have long-term goals, make sure you're making it happen. Don't just try to plan or think about planning it. Do small things that will push you towards it. Sorry, my bad. Just to even bring it up, like I wanted to decrease my screen time and everything, and I've noticed that there'd be days where I'm having zero screen times, and then after there'll be days where I'm doing like 3 times the screen time, and it's just like, wow, you're really in this, you're really stuck in this digital age. And summer is a time where I usually do go out a lot, and I'm away from my computer. Like recently I've done some upgrades where it's helped me get stuck on my computer, and I like to prepare for the winter super early, whether it comes to clothing or buying a set of games, because I know that I'm not going to go outside. I'm gonna get upset, just winter things. Maybe in the future, if I get a really cool job, I'll probably be a snowbird. And what that is when you pretty much travel for the cold months and then you come back when it's warm again. Yeah, I think that's a major goal that I should start looking into and seeing how to achieve it. But ultimately, guys, what this episode is talking about is clearing your mind from distractions. I've posted a lot of rants recently on Instagram, whether it's political, partially, or the views on certain things that have happened. And I guess I'll dip into the politics because I meant to do a politic episode and time kind of flew by. So now with the algorithm, I'll probably miss a lot of hits, but it doesn't even really matter. The point is to get on the topic, and I'm going to use some words to avoid certain things. But, we had the debate about whether you should have a baby or you should not have a baby, and the freedom to do so or not. And that went wild on the internet. Then 2 weeks later, they were talking about people having the rights to bear arms, right? I'm using these words to avoid the algorithms, but you guys get it, right? And then after, at least up here in Canada, the prime minister is like, oh yeah, so we're gonna ban a bunch of things, even though it's not related to here, and it's so much harder to do it up here than instead of the States, which really didn't make sense. And then people are kind of like surprised that that party lost in the federal. And I know that federal, provincial, whatever, I might be using the wrong terms, but basically it doesn't matter who you vote in the province. It doesn't really affect the government in the sense of who the prime minister is. It doesn't change things much. But I think it's crazy how so many people state that they care about A, B, or C, but they don't even make it happen, right? A lot of people were upset that Ford won in Ontario, and it's like, what do you expect? There's too many people who say that they're going to do something, and then they don't do it. It's the exact same thing that happened in the elections in the States 6 years ago. I'm avoiding the T word, but you guys know who I'm talking about. That's how that dude won. Because people thought it was so ridiculous. There's no way anybody's going to vote for this guy. Bam. And they didn't even go to vote, and that's why he won. And it's the same thing that happened up here. We had someone who clearly had a bunch of things that people apparently were so against, yet they didn't even bother to go vote. The voting turnout was like the lowest in history, I think, or since like 1968, 69. And people are shocked that, oh, the people who went to go vote are the people who usually go vote. So it was a landslide election. Can you imagine that you state that you're for this, or you're pro this, you're pro that? You can't even go out to vote. And the election was basically summed up in 5 minutes because of all the people who actually went to go vote. And that's the thing that you guys have to realize about ideologies and even people itself. You have to know who you're dealing with. You have to even test the people that you want to be around, because if you really want to go far, there's that term where if you want to go far, it's better to go in a group. But at the same time, you have to make sure that your group is solid. If you don't have a solid group and you're trying to go somewhere, it's going to be a problem. It's like going to the club and you have a friend who gets touchy when they are under the influence. Do you really want to bring that person around every time you go to the club? It's going to ruin your experience. If you're a dude, all the girls are going to be scared of you. If you're girls, it's going to embarrass your whole group of girls, and you probably won't find someone that you might want to meet up with or hook up with, whatever your goal is in the club. But either way, you have to find people that align with you, and that's a thing that you have to focus on when you want to make it happen. Recently, I've been listening to a lot of stuff and even kind of looking back at my old work, because I'm trying to put more of this stuff on Spotify, like one episode a day, or even like, that's a little bit too much because I know I'm being lazy, but one episode a week, maybe polishing up older episodes because I want to re-listen to it before I put it online. And those episodes aren't as clean as these newer episodes because I have a better mic, have better timing, probably a little bit more editing, but not as much, because I've learned how to control how I talk so that everything is a lot more smoother. But you'll still see the gaps. Either way, when you're making it happen, you guys gotta just go for it. I'm gonna have a pretty interesting picture. I don't know which one I want to use, but either way, it's a motivational picture for you to kind of see where I'm trying to come from. And I think it also reflects kind of like my state of mind at the moment. I think also recently, because I've been on and off sick, like I've been sick every month and a half, right? Just because of switching times at work and probably not eating as healthy and then pushing my body to the max of like when I was in peak health hasn't really been helping. And then maybe age as well, it's helped me kind of just reflect on certain things and make me want to do more, right? Like I've taken time off, and even if I have like one day off and I'm not doing anything in particular, it makes me stop to kind of like rewind and see like, where do I want to go in life? Where are my long-term goals? What are my short-term goals? Sometimes I talk to people at work and, I ask them, oh, what would you do if you won the lottery? Or what's something that you have a dream? Like, what's your dream? Or what's something that you really want to do? And sometimes the things that people talk about are big, and sometimes the things are really small and very easy to achieve. So ultimately, most of the time when I ask someone something, I ask people like, so what are you doing about it? Are you like, when are you going to make it happen? And a lot of people backpedal or they pause, right? I'm like, hey, if it's important to you, why haven't you started working on it? And even looking at myself, doing a bit of self-reflection, there's a lot of things that I start and I'm pretty much like, if it's a race, I'll do it to the point where I'm almost at the finish line and then I just stop. And that's a habit that I'm trying to break this year, because it's something that I've done out of comfort as well. Like, I have episodes lined up, but I haven't finished editing them, or they're super long and I don't want to edit them, even though they're basically done. It's going to take me 10 minutes. It's going to take me 20 minutes, maybe even 15 minutes to clean up. And it's going to be great content, but I just don't do it. I'm not making it happen. And what I'm doing with this whole screen time drop and just cutting certain things out is just to focus more on my content, and also focus more on what I actually want to do with my free time. Something that we don't realize, especially in this social media age, is that there's so many small distractions. And with those distractions, we don't have that clear mind. And people are like, oh yeah, I don't want to be left alone with my thoughts. Oh, I might get anxious, blah, blah, blah. Being overstimulated is also making you anxious. Having that time for yourself makes you kind of realize what you're doing or what you haven't been doing, right? There's too many people that I hear of or talk to that say that they have anxiety, right? What are you anxious about? And this is not to make fun of people who have anxiety. I've had pretty hard anxiety, especially a couple of years ago. But what are you doing to change that anxious part in your life? What are you doing to achieve that clarity in your mind, that peace, that inner peace, that peace within whatever you're struggling with? You could go see a therapist, you could go talk to a friend, you could just get offline for a while, because the studies have been showing that being online too much is affecting people's mental health. And another thing too is just like what you eat, and not exercising also affects your mental health as well. So especially as things are opening up, as it is a nicer season, I'm gonna challenge you guys to just go outside a little bit more. I know I'm doing a collage of all the people that I link up with this summer or just this year in general, and I want to make a giant post, but that's up to who wants to see me or not. But either way, I'm going to make sure that I maximize the time that I do take outside of doing these podcast episodes, because that's a goal of mine. That's a short-term goal of mine, and I think it's definitely possible. And that's all up to me, and I'm gonna make it happen. So yeah, that's pretty much this episode. A mix of politics, a mix of inspiration, and more of like a deadpan tone just because of my voice. But either way, guys, I hope you do enjoy this episode. Maybe I'll have a music overlay on this just so that it doesn't sound so dreary, but oh well, I think it sounds fine. Either way, guys, I want you to leave a comment. What are you trying to make happen this year, or this month, or this week? What are your goals? Share them with me. Let's see if I could help you towards your goals, or if you're really passionate about it, to share it with me. Who knows? Either way, guys, hopefully you guys have a nice day. I'm a little bit tired too, so I'll catch you in the next one. Later.